The first impression that I had was that the watch was very pretty. I'm not sure that's a kind of a good word to use for design. It's an unusual word to describe a piece of work. From a first glance, it doesn't have a very strong, direct one message that comes to you. So it's something that you have to experience it at different angle or different moment that you are encountering the watch itself. I think this watch is somehow not a watch that kind of catch your attention right away. And you almost have to spend time with it for kind of a little detail to kind of review itself. If you look at it in one glance, it's kind of very difficult to kind of understand what it is, because in a way there are many kind of elements. At different angle, different element will kind of reveal itself in that way. How this element are kind of stacked very closely, but I think it kind of allows it to have slightly different perception. It was when I was driving, so my hand is kind of really close, and as you are moving, so the wrist is kind of turning. And that kind of shows different layer because of the way that the light are reflecting. From a design point of view, you are always trying to optimize whether you are trying to create something that is cheaper, lighter, or stronger. And so every design decision, there's some kind of very clear reason. The Lange one, especially the moon face, somehow doesn't fall into this logic of optimization, because I think it's always much easier to make a mechanism that everything is from one point, and that means your hands and your second, everything is there. But in this instance, the watch are kind of split into different configuration. So, and there doesn't seem to be any good reason to do that. If you, from a quick glance, unless you actually, in fact, maybe my eyesight is not so good, but you kind of could never quite see there might be a tiny little radius. So it's looking almost like a perfect rectangle. And with any kind of fabrication process, that's something extremely difficult to achieve. And especially at such a small scale. Well, if you are using a machine, like a CNC machine to fabricate something, the smaller your drill bits are to get close to a sharp angle, that means the diameter is going to be super, super small, and it's going to break all the time, right? And if you are trying to do this by hand, to get a perfect straight line, I think from my experience, it's almost close to impossible, unless you set up some kind of really special jig for that to happen. But I still couldn't quite figure out how this is done, maybe except really, really high kind of artisanal skills. The challenge of craftsmanship is to stay kind of relevant. This kind of products that are produced from these processes are not connected to the daily life anymore. And once it's not connected to your daily life, then the way of preserving it or the way to continue becomes somehow of a conservation effort. Then the object becomes an artifact because it's not part of your daily life.